And we're recording.
All right. Don't say anything you don't want out there because it'll be out there on YouTube. All right. Welcome to November. You guys see that for me? I'm going to turn the slideshow on. Slideshow. All righty. So a couple of things we are going to cover today. I got some feedback from some of the leaders saying that that we were wanting some training on bookings away from parties. So we always want to make parties our office, but we wanted to get some training on ideas for generating bookings when we're not at a party. I also threw in, I was going back and forth, but I figured there's always a great opportunity to get some additional sales or non-traditional parties. We're going to talk about that. And then there was a overwhelming response for some recruiting training. So we're going to try to cover all that, and then finally we'll have a call to action. So is there anything burning that you guys would like to see, or any burning questions that you guys have before I jump into what I've got prepared? I'll take silence as a no. All right. So one of the things I want to talk about is just your goal setting for November. We're still really early in November, and if you have not communicated already what your goals are for November to your upline or to me, please do so. But goal setting is one of the biggest things. I've noticed when I've set a goal for myself, and whether that be for one of the incentives this month or not, I tend to do better at hitting my goals when I know exactly what I'm shooting for. So one of the biggest things to do is communicate that goal so that you can get the help and support that you need. So thinking about how many parties you have for November, then I also want you to consider what I call your magic hat number. I don't take any credit for this concept at all because it's definitely from somebody else, and I wish I knew who it was to give them credit. But the magic hat is, if there was a magic hat and you can pull out as many parties as you wanted in that month, how many parties would you pull out? So if parties fell from the sky, if parties jumped out of the magic hat, how many would you take onto your calendar? So one of the things I'm going to ask that you do, and you don't have to share it right now, you can if you want to, but you don't have to. What I'm going to ask is that you guys send how many parties you have in November currently booked, and then what your magic hat number is for parties. Okay? So communicating your goal for November is going to be good. It'll also help us get you up to the number that you want to get to. All right. So I want to jump right in front to booking away from parties. So there's a couple things that I came up with when I'm lower on parties than I would want. There's a couple different methods that I use in order to book up some more parties. So one of the things that I have all your pictures over my notes. One of the things that I really like to focus on is the fun factor, right? So what themes do I think are fun? What themes do I think people will match up to? So for example, if I'm running low on parties, I may think about who my wine lovers are. And I may call them and ask them if they would be interested in doing a wine and chocolate tasting with their friends. I might think of somebody who doesn't care for chocolate all that much, but absolutely loves to grill. And I might call and ask them about a meatball party, right? So what I would challenge you guys to do is think about what themes we could do. And I've got some examples listed on the screen in front of us. But what themes can we do? And then who do we know that matches up to those themes? Okay. So a couple of the ones that I have on the screen right now are the hot chocolate bar. So doing a couple different flavors of hot chocolate. And there was just on Facebook, the top 10 like adult hot chocolate recipes. And I'm more than happy to send this. Again, I didn't create it, but just to read off a few, there's a fireball hot chocolate. There is a slow cooker spiced white hot chocolate, and any of these can be made with our hot chocolate to make them even better than the recipes intended. That's for sure. Tequila and and some kind of pepper infused Mexican hot chocolate. Oh my gosh, I can only imagine some of these. But to pick 2 or 3 of them and sample them at a party, and then to show the versatility of our hot chocolate recipes, whether that's putting them in, using our white sipping chocolate for French toast or pancakes or waffles, and just really building off of one theme of a hot chocolate bar, especially this month with the American Heritage hot chocolate being on special. This is a perfect opportunity to talk to folks about having a hot chocolate party and really getting them excited about the theme, okay? Sip and dip is a very popular one right now, or sip and shop, shop and sip, however you guys want to call it. But to have a couple of drinks, create a couple of dips for appetizers, and then allow folks to make their holiday shopping even easier. They can do it with their friends. They can do it in the comfort of a home rather than hitting our stores up. Gift giving is another one that is really popular, and when I offer it to folks, you see a lot of bells and whistles and hoops and hollering start, because we can start to help them do some gift giving. Now, I know it is against Dev's policy to break things up and create gifts for people and then sell them outright, but that doesn't mean we can't suggest that that's what folks do. I'm going to turn off screen sharing just for a minute. I want to show you what I showed at my last stop share. Am I back?
You're back.
Yay! I created a couple of things just for an online party that I was running last month to suggest some gifting ideas. So one of the things that I did, and I'm gonna see if I can do it. Okay, so this is just the mousse mix, and then I put it in a little thank you bag, tied it with a little red ribbon, and then put the 2 bars of chocolate in the back. Okay, so just showing that this could be a very easy teacher gift. It could be a very easy mailman gift. And for the $36, you're going to get 6 of them, right? So
Heather,
go for
just
it.
real quickly, one thing that I do the very same thing, but I go to the Dollar Tree and I get a bag of tinsel. It lasts me all year. Put like a few things of tinsel inside of it, and it looks like, oh my God, it's really fancy. It's crazy.
Yes,
Crazy.
I highly suggest fancifying, being way more creative than I am, but I'm showing you the like hardcore, stick it in the bag, you got yourself a gift, right? And then the other thing, Dollar Tree, I do love it. I'm right there with you, Pam. You can also show something like this where it's just, I just got a glass
I love those mugs.
I do, right? I love
the
them.
case.
It's just a glass mug, and then I stuck 1 bag of the almonds in there with a bow on it. You could stick a packet of the chai tea in there.
Our little truffle teas are good.
Yeah, the tea bag. I'm looking up like you guys can see in my office. Yep, the tea bags are good. The espresso beans fit in there as well. It's also cute if you do the coffee mug with the espresso beans.
Guys.
The other one is they have, this is a little bit taller of a mug. Again, you could do the chai tea in there very easily. The graham cracker and the pretzel fit in there as well, right? So you're able to show folks what they could do if they were to buy, let's say, the tea bundle. You can create your own bundles at a party, right? And so to create gifting points for people really helps out. So to be able to say, look, I'm spending $6 to $7 on this gift, and I can create 8 of them in one purchase, right? Now you're helping them to satisfy their shopping needs, especially when you're talking multiple kids, multiple teachers, daycare providers, and giving them that, giving them those ideas for a unique gift. And what I always like to point out too is on our almonds, even if they break them up, that the logo is there on the bag. So they know it's not a generic bag of almonds. They know, the gift recipient knows that it's a high quality and they know where it's coming from. So the gift giving party theme is really popular because then you can try some of these items, but the biggest thing is that host knows you're gonna help her and her guests do some of their Christmas shopping, knock out some of their hard to buy for people, and then also start to save them money and give them some value on a high quality gift for those people that they buy something for every year, okay? So gift giving is a really popular one for me as well. The other one that I have on here, which is usually pretty popular, is there's always somebody in our group that does not like winter at all. Right? They absolutely hate winter. They don't like the snow. They don't like the cold coming in. I'm a huge winter lover. I'm the exact opposite of the non-winter lovers. But if you find somebody who doesn't like winter, suggest throwing an escape winter party. Do tropical themes. So you're going to do almost the Maui theme, right? But you can do it as a daiquiri mix. You can do that. The onion dip that they suggested for Maui, the pineapple upside down, you could do all of that and then the escape winter type of party theme. You can get them really involved by having them wear flip-flops or shorts or tropical leis, whatnot, just to really play up the theme and have some fun with it even more. But to find somebody in your circle that really hates winter and suggest that they have an escape winter party. Okay, so themes are a really good way to make someone feel as though you thought about them, to personalize it to them, but then to also put a twist on your typical chocolate tasting. Is there any other themes that you guys use that that has worked really well for you? Crickets, crickets, chirp, 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 chirp. All right, I'm going back to sharing screen. All right, so as you think of themes, there we go. You guys see my screen again?
Yep.
All right, thank you. All right, so as you guys come up with more themes, or if you find somebody and you're like, oh my gosh, this would be perfect for them, please go ahead and share them, especially out in the group. If you think of somebody, chances are somebody else will think of somebody in their circle too. The other thing I encourage you is trust that there's plenty of menu options to go along with these. Don't spend a lot of time or a lot of detail on coming up with fantastic menus that are going to work for people that fall into these categories. Spend more time on actually identifying those people and calling them and getting a date for that party. And then I'm more than happy to sit down and we can come up with an economical menu for you as well. Okay?
Heather, I've been thinking about something, and maybe folks have some ideas. With the holidays coming, you know, people do like cookie exchanges, or like red velvet crackle look just gorgeous. I haven't tried them, but there are tons of different truffle recipes out there too. I've been thinking about holding like an early December holiday treat swap, or teach people how to make truffles. But I'm concerned about the cost of all the chocolate and all that. I don't know.
Okay, we're gonna actually get to that in the additional sales and non-traditional parties, the freezer workshops, the cookie exchange, and then the truffle workshop as well.
Oh, good, thanks.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna come right back to you on that one. A couple other things for when we're talking about away from parties. My second bullet there is consistency. One of the biggest things that we can stress with our team and with ourselves is being consistent in our business. I tend to think about my business a lot, and it doesn't always equate to action. And so to really focus in on consistently working, consistently calling, can really make a difference in the business, especially this time of year. We've got a lot going on. Everybody's got a lot going on. So one of the techniques that I learned, I believe it was about a year ago now, is the 5 or 15 technique. And what that is where you choose 5 people or 5 calls to make, or spend 15 minutes in a day making phone calls. So whichever one comes first. I may talk to 5 people, I may leave my voice messages, and it may take me a minute and a half. So I have some more time, I can work up to that 15 minutes. Or I might go, I'm going to go ahead and make these 5 phone calls, and then I got to go get the kids to bed, or I got to go take a shower, or I got to sit down for a minute, right? Because I haven't all day. So pick one that works better for you, 5 or 15. Some days, I will be honest, some days I can get those 5 calls, and I can't get any more than that. It takes me a minute and a half to leave those voice messages. Sometimes I call 5 people and it does last 30 minutes, and that's okay because it works into my schedule that night. But to really work on 5 or 15, make 5 phone calls or 15 minutes, whichever one comes first, and then go from there. That will really help to focus your team and yourselves on actually having action in your business rather than just thinking about our business and who we're going to call and the things that we can do or the things that we could use, right? So 5 or 15. So one of my calls to actions, and we'll summarize them at the end, for this week is going to be over the next 7 days to pick three days where you do 5 calls or 15 minutes of actionable items. Okay? This is really going to produce the it will produce consistency in your business, but it will also start to produce some traction in terms of getting people to not only on the phone, getting a hold of people, and letting folks know the things that we have, the promotions that we have, and the dates that you guys have available. Okay. One of the other things, similarly along those lines, is to stay with our customer care calls. When we get busy, when we might get a bit of a slacking to our day, customer care calls are often one of the first things that fall off. The 2 + 2 + 2 rule. I was going to ask, I could totally wing this, but I'm going to ask Andy to refresh my memory on the 2 + 2 + 2, if you don't mind. I know it's 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months.
Correct.
I will be totally honest with you. I don't do my customer care calls near as what I should, so I need to take this advice myself. But I definitely don't do the 2 + 2 + 2, so it's something I want to institute. Would you mind blowing the 2 + 2 + 2 out for us?
Sure, absolutely. So the 2 + 2 + 2 is basically 2 days after the party. You place a call to the guests that were at the party as a simple thank you. So what you want to do with that initial call is to build a rapport. You're not calling them to ask them if they want to buy anything else. You're not calling them to ask if they want to book a party. You are simply calling them to say thank you for taking the time to come to the party and hope they enjoy the product that they're getting. So again, it's just building a rapport. 2 weeks later is a follow-up to make sure that they've received their product. And if they have any questions about anything that they've received, if there's anything that you can help them with, any questions that they might have, or you find out if they don't have their product yet. Okay, so that's just the follow-up of making sure that they've got everything. And then the 2 months is simply a follow-up to say, hey, how did you enjoy your product? Are you out? Do you need replenishing? Is this a good time to consider hosting a tasting of your own? So again, the first call is simply to say thank you. When was the last time you guys all went to a party, whether it's jewelry or bags or whatever, and the consultant called you 2 days later just to say thank you? If they did, exactly. Most of us don't have that happen. If they did call you, would you remember that particular person? If somebody needed a Tupperware person, would you be like, oh my gosh, Susie called me right after my party just to thank me. Didn't ask me for anything else, just called to thank me. So yeah, I typically personally do a morning after phone call. I personally do it when I'm going to mostly get voicemails, but I call the next day. I don't wait 2 days. I call the next day and simply thank them for coming, hoping they had a great time, hoping they had a great experience, and that I will call them in a couple weeks and let them and check with them to make sure they've gotten their product. I find if I personally, don't do it right away, it slips through the cracks. And I tend to do it during the day when I get voicemails. There are days when every single person answers their phone and they're chatty. So, but yeah, so that's how the 2 + 2 + 2 goes.
Excellent. Thank you, Angie.
You're welcome.
All right. So again, building relationships with your folks are going to help in the long run. And one of the other things, and this one is a tough one for me too, is stepping out of your comfort zone. A lot of the times we will send a Facebook message, send just a passive suggestion of, hey, you should have a party, or we might even just send an email. I don't want to say hide, but to step out of your comfort zone, you're really going to see some traction in your business pick up too. And now this could be as simple as picking up the phone to make a phone call rather than texting, emailing, or Facebooking. Or it could be heading out to the mall with intention of talking to people about your business. Intention is huge. When we set out to actually spread word of the Dove love, right? We are we're going to step into an arena where we are marketing, where we are sharing that opportunity more so than we would if we just go and we go, oh, I got some of the catalogs in the car. If I run into somebody, at least I'm ready. When you step out of your house and you step out of that comfort zone, ready to, you're dressed to impress, and maybe you put your name tag on, doesn't matter where you're going. You can always just say, hey, I just came from an event, right? Step out with intention, and you're going to see that business grow as well. You're going to see conversations start. Okay. Any other questions or feedback on bookings away from parties?
Okay, question for the fan. I know, Melissa.
Question to the fan. The fan speaks.
The fan talks! Oh my gosh!
Go ahead, Melissa.
What do you say? Like, okay, I know I've gotten besides the do you like chocolate, and I know DCD Kim said, have you had your chocolate fix today? But what do you say to people when you're out and about? Just other examples.
In terms of, like if I'm at the mall with my kids,
Yes.
or going out with intention,
Yes.
most of the times I strike up conversation. 9 times out of 10 it leads, and it's not even intentional to, I'm going to ask you about chocolate, or I'm going to ask you about a party, or right? It's just striking up conversation.
Okay.
And a lot of the times it will lead to, how are you? How are you? How have you been? And when you're asked that question, if you say anything along the lines of, oh my gosh, life is great. My family's great. My job is great. Things are going fantastic for me.
Okay.
9 times out of 10, the next question is going to be, oh, your job's great. What do you do?
Okay.
Right. So just by engaging in conversation, to me, is the best way to really start building that relationship. But yeah, I mean, you can ask somebody that you see have, chocolate on them in the chocolate aisle. But most of the times when I'm out with my kids at the mall and I'm just sitting there watching them play wherever or at the play place, it's just about making conversation.
Okay.
And it's amazing how quickly chocolate, your job, what you do, what they do comes into play.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Can I share something?
Please.
I actually, Dollar Tree is one of my favorite stores for many reasons, but I just happened to, like you said, just strike up a conversation with the gal behind the counter, right? She was checking me out and checking my stuff out, not checking me out.
Work it, Cab, work it.
Okay. And I just said, as I was leaving, I turned around and said, you know what, do you know anybody that loves chocolate? And she, like, her jaw dropped. Oh my God, chocolate, I love chocolate. So it was like, I was almost saying bye. And and then it was like an afterthought. And she said, oh, I love chocolate. And I said, really? I said, because I'm a chocolatier with Dove and I lead chocolate tastings. Do you know, do you have a group of friends that might like to get together and try some chocolate? And in that case, it was kind of direct. We'd already talked a little bit, but we worked it out. She ended up saying, oh my God, I only have this women's group at church. We want to do this. So long story short, and we did. She did it at my house because they didn't have a place, but I was fine with that. And I made a whole bunch of friends, and now I'm going to a new church. But you never know where this stuff leads. But it was just the casual, comfortable conversation. And then right before I left, I turned around and said, hey, do you know anybody that loves chocolate? And that seemed to work.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Excellent. Nice job, Pam. Angie, you got a question?
I don't have a question, but I'd like to share because we did that scavenger hunt that we put together with our team.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
So we had it gauged toward obviously bookings and recruiting. So I'll just go through the booking stuff that we did. We had a lot of people that did this. We had 5 teams of, I think we had 18 people.
Oh,
That
wow.
were actually participating in the scavenger hunt. And then Ricky and myself and Lori Lambert all had bags of goodies on our persons. And we walked around the mall And we participated. We got our share of information, but we were watching for the other teams to see what they were doing and handing out goodies to them as well. But one of the things that we found, when people were in a group, they had a tendency to be a little more brave as opposed to just being on your own. So something to consider, get a buddy. We call it going to go friend finding at the mall, friends with chocolate. But one of the things that I found was intriguing, that was a great conversation starter, was to have samples with you and to simply say, has anyone given you your complimentary Dove chocolate today? It wasn't small talk. It was direct to the point. Either they were going to say, of course they're going to say no, and they're going to say, I don't like chocolate, or, oh my gosh, no, and I love chocolate, especially Dove. So has anyone given you your complimentary chocolate today? And have your samples, whether it's your bar of chocolate, your grams, your pretzels, your little baggie with your almonds in it, whatever. For the scavenger hunt, we had supplied everybody with the grams of pretzels, the Chef Series bars, so they were all locked and loaded in their goodie bags and ready to go. The other thing that was really fun is, if you have some time to kill at the mall, go into a store and try on an outfit that you say to the sales clerk, is this appropriate to wear to a chocolate party?
Ooh.
So those were things that they had to do for points for the scavenger hunt. But was really fun because they were trying on fun outfits. You know, do you think this is fun enough for a chocolate party? We all know as soon as somebody hears the word chocolate, they're like, what'd you just say? I could care less about the outfit. What did you just say about chocolate? Back up. The other thing that they did to strike up conversations was to have, again, graham cracker, pretzel, bar of chocolate, and take it into the store. Tell them you're on a scavenger hunt. They don't know that there's not somebody else running around the mall. See what they'll trade you for a bar of chocolate. People on our team, one person got a 4-pack of Cinnabons.
Nice.
Somebody got a popsicle stick from Lush. They were kind of cheap. GNC gave health bars. But Ricky stole the show. She got a freshwater pearl bracelet.
Oh, wow.
What?
Carlsberg Diamond.
Oh my God.
Just go carry some chocolate with you and go to the store and say, I'm on a scavenger hunt and we have to see what we can trade for chocolate and see what you get, and then start up with a conversation from there. So just some fun things that we did on the scavenger hunt that were booking related. We did lots of other things that were recruiting related too, icebreakers with that, but I'll save those.
Would you be able to put that on the files?
Would I be willing to put that on the files? I can, absolutely.
Thank you, Angie.
You are so welcome. Sticky note so I don't forget.
All right. Let's see if I can get my screen to move. All right. So moving on to additional sales and non-traditional parties. So I'm a big proponent of making sure your calendar's full before taking on other endeavors, let's put it. But I'm also all for you guys getting as much sales as possible, especially this season, to help you guys reach your goals. So I wanted to at least cover some of the ways you could grow your sales that we're going to be talking about and see where we need more information on. So a couple of things to grow sales. On one of the calls this week that I listened to, Angie, I think this was, you were on it with me. Were you on all the ones this week with me? About approaching small businesses. I think this was with Joanne, right? Regarding corporate and then just gifting in general. I have found that the majority of places that I go to are not small businesses, and I'm kind of disappointed in myself. And so I find that my Chase Bank and my Red Robin manager, they're not as willing to work with or gift locally because they are a big box. They're not small box. So when you're looking for additional gifting opportunities, or even a non-traditional party, to go into a small business, to your insurance companies, to or your insurance offices to your real estate offices to offer not only your gifting services, but to also, if they are able to do like a happy hour in their office or even during their lunch break. Last year I did a couple of different schools in the teacher's lounge. I was able to set up some samples. And again, I don't sample near as much as I would at a party, but a couple of different items I was sampling. And as the teachers came in from 11 to 1 on their lunch break, then I was able to talk to them about Dove and about the business and about parties. So it was a really great place for me. And I know it's not everybody is capable of doing a lunch break, but it's a great place to start some conversations about non-traditional parties. The other thing this time of year, the turkey trot is very popular. There's a lot of talk about that, as well as I typically do a reindeer run in December. Bingo's another one that I've heard a lot about. And then Pam, as you mentioned, different workshops, the freezer meal workshop, the cookie exchange workshop, or even a truffle making workshop. And these are different ways that we can gather some sales as well as share the Dove love. Are there other ways to gather sales, or is there any of these that you want me to put what information I have out there? What are questions regarding these additional sales?
As I said, I do all of those.
I have a question on the truffle making. I'm wondering if someone has like a, what do I need to order ahead of time to make it? What are the, I mean, I can choose some recipes, but do I charge people to come, buy the stuff ahead of time, charge people to come? I don't know what to do. So if someone has that already figured out, I would love it if they would share it.
Okay. Yeah, and Angie, feel free to jump in here too. I know Angie's team is the one that really blew out freezer meals and the freezer meal workshop. I know I just saw a bunch of stuff about cookie exchange being posted and suggestions there. I personally have done the truffle making. I did that last year. I did the truffle making workshops. And the way that I did it is they were able to come, I did martinis and truffle making, and they brought home 6 different truffles, but I did not have them buy it ahead of time. I actually, we did, this is how you make it, and I allowed them to roll the truffle, to make the actual truffle and then coat it in whatever they wanted. And then I also served martinis at that party as well. But then it was just a normal party where we talked about the different items that they were rolling the truffles in and such. So I can look, I'll write myself a note to see what my verbiage on all of that was for truffle making. The cookie exchange, I don't know. Angie, have you seen anybody in Dove doing the cookie exchange?
I don't think anybody's done it yet. I know on the manager's page yesterday, somebody asked to put a flyer together for it. I think one of the managers found some different breakdowns and asked somebody creative to put something together. So I'll keep my eyes open for that. Pam, if I could jump back to Heather, if it's okay with you, jump back to the truffle making.
Sure.
I do lots of truffle making classes simply because when somebody calls and asks me for a donation, I give a certificate for a truffle making class or a martini tasting. I don't donate product to anybody unless it's like something that's very, very near to my heart, or I know them very, very well, because giving product away has never done anything to come back to me as a return on my investment. But giving a piece of paper and a catalog in an envelope has come back to me multiple times, and it puts me in front of an audience. If it's a donation, obviously I don't charge for that. But when I do a truffle making class, I charge $20 a person. And that covers a dozen truffles. I do 4 different kinds of truffles. And I purchase the gift boxes, the cotton gloves for them to roll the truffles in. I provide the powders. I don't do any other drinks or whatever. And I limit it to as long as they can fit around one table. Now, my cousin had a table that fit 20 people because we have a huge family. But at $20 a person, I made it work. I go in and I throw a plastic tablecloth down from the dollar store, and everybody just gets down and dirty and plays with the ganache. I do everything from milk chocolate, peanut butter. My favorite, and what seems to be the favorite of everybody, is milk chocolate with our sweet and spicy cocoa rub in it. They are licking the container out. So yeah, I charge $20 a person.
Do you make all the ganache ahead?
Yes, I make all the ganache ahead because it would not be set up properly if I do that. I give them the recipe on how to make the ganache, the basic ganache. But I just actually one of my team leaders had a birthday in October and she did a slumber party. So I came in and did a candy making class for them and I charged them $20 a person. They did, even the chocolatier paid. So they didn't get a freebie on it, but they wanted to see how it was done. And I actually did milk chocolate rum chata. And I did something else with alcohol in it. I can't remember what it was. So I started playing with some different recipes with it. But yeah, I charge. People don't bat an eye about paying the $20 because they're taking a dozen truffles home.
How much chocolate do you buy? Like, if you had a box of chocolate, how many truffles can you make out of a box?
A batch of ganache is 6 bars of chocolate. So it's 12 ounces of chocolate. And if I have a group of 6 or 8 people, 3 of those batches will do, so a pound, what is that, 2 pounds exactly? It's 1.5 pound box plus 6. So that'll give me enough for a party. So I get 1 pound, and I have 2.5 pound boxes of Chef Series chocolate.
Okay.
So a full batch of ganache is 6 bars. It's 12 ounces of chocolate.
Okay, so you're making 4 batches.
I'm making 4 batches.
4 batches for how many people? 8 people?
For 8 people. Now, some of those are half batches because like the dark chocolate raspberry doesn't go over quite as well, so I only do a half a batch of that. So it just...
You have this all written down somewhere, right?
No.
Oh, please. I may just have to pick your brain separately one day.
You can pick my brain as much as you want. But yeah, I mean, it's just, and I used to charge 15 and I upped it to 20 because I buy the gloves. I buy the boxes. I go to Nashville Wraps or Paper Mart and I buy the little truffle candy papers and I have all of that stuff. But I did my cost breakdown way back when, you know, and I buy the Chef Series chocolate is the only piece of product that I buy on supply. Everything else,
So obviously you're not getting any Maui points for this. Do you have catalogs there so that they can buy other Dove products, or?
Absolutely. When they come in and sit down, there's a catalog, there's a pair of gloves, there's a Chef Series bar, there's a box, there's their papers. It's all stacked up, and a little melon ball or scoop so they can make the ganache.
Okay, I'm definitely going to get your number and write all these notes down at another time.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, I got to glimpse of Melissa for a second there. Yep, back to the pan. All right.
That trot down there looks really familiar.
Yeah. I Googled turkey trot to get my, and there was a bunch out there, let me just tell you.
Uh-huh. I know that's the top of mine. It looks like my font. I don't know if that's my actual one, but it sure looks like it.
The one down at the bottom is yours.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, that one looks really familiar. Those are great. I usually have 3 or 4 of those going in November. And then I do a snowball fight in January.
Oh, nice.
Reindeer race and then snowball fight.
And are they, in essence, the same thing, different name?
Yep. Same thing, always just a different name.
Okay. Because I do the reindeer run. I give everybody their choice of reindeer, and people fight over which reindeer they are. I'm like, all right, pick it.
Hey, whatever works, whatever gets the sales.
Right? Exactly. All right. All right, let's move on. Questions we covered. All right. So building your team comes with building relationships. So this is, I had a lot of questions about recruiting, but nothing specific. A lot of the questions that I got when I put it out to some folks was, you know, how do I close? How do I recruit? How do I encourage my team to recruit? So I'm going to go through a little bit of what's available to us. what we could use when we need it. But my biggest rule of thumb with recruiting, and after hearing Aaron Garcia say it, what was it, a week or two ago, is that there's no cut and dry method to recruiting. There's no, this is exactly how it's going to work. And so I'm going to go through some of the things that I've learned, some of the things that I utilize. Feel free to jump in on what works for you guys as well. But I realized early on, I realize now that early on, I verbally vomited over a lot of people. I wasn't nearly as focused on them as I should have been. I was focused on me and how awesome Dove was, which it is, but sometimes I got a little overboard. And I'll admit I probably scared a handful of folks off. So I want to go through a little bit. First of all, I talked to a few folks on the team, and they said, you know, I didn't get anybody to join my team last month when it was an $85 kit and double points for me. How am I going to get somebody to join now when we're this much closer to the end of the year and we are at 115? So my biggest thing to stress is leave the past behind us. They have no idea there was an $85 kit a week ago. We always have something to offer. There's a million reasons why folks join this business, whether it's for the travel, whether it's for the money, whether it's for just to get out of the house, whether it's because they want something to call their own. We always have something to offer. And what's more important is to find out how Dove can fit into someone else's life. So one of the things to keep in mind is the resources that we have available to you. Your biggest resource that you have available to you is you. Talking to them, getting to know them, and sharing this opportunity, you are their biggest resource. Don't give that up to a brochure. Don't give that up to a flyer that you print out. Don't give that up to an incentive. You are your best resource when you are growing your team. If you're not confident in talking to somebody, then utilize your upline, utilize me, utilize Andy, utilize Kim, our FDM, our team, or other chocolatier stories. There's a lot of times when a new chocolatier comes on board and says, well, I haven't been around long enough. Borrow other chocolatier stories, okay? We are here to help one another. We are here to support one another. We all join this business for different reasons. But the fact that we know one another, the fact that we know each other's stories, that's going to really help us grow our teams moving forward. The food cards, these are the cards that we could use at a Cocoa Chat. They are available in the back office. You can download them, print them out. I suggest that you do if you don't have them. If you don't know how to use the food cards or need some training on them, please just shout out and we will sit down and I can walk you through them. The recruiting brochure is a beautiful brochure. It is. I suggest you bring it with you when you meet with somebody. I suggest you're familiar with the information there. But again, remember that you are your best resource. The other thing that I realized is that the 3 questions that are listed here on the screen are where I really need to stay to keep me from verbally vomiting on anybody. Tell me about you, right? So I want to learn about that person. What excites you about that opportunity, right? There's a million things I would love to share and how awesome this opportunity is, but what I really want to know is what excites them. And Aaron is the one that drove this last one home with me, is should we get you started today? Okay. And a lot of the times I wasn't asking that question, should we get you started today? I kept saying, do you have any more questions? What else can I answer for you? What else can I tell you? When I could have just said, should we get you started today? Because chances are they would have just said, yes, let's do it, right? I was too busy talking. I was getting in my own way. The other resource that we have available to us is the awkward silence. This is the one where you ask the question, should we get you started today? And then you stop and you listen. There's going to be an awkward silence as that other person is processing and what questions do they really have. Let that awkward silence play out. It's a powerful silence. And we want to use that resource to our advantage. Okay? All right. So, had to put the Q-tip on there, right? All right, so there's a couple things when we are, when we want to actively recruit, when you set yourself a goal, and if you guys have goals for recruiting, and you should, for November, please send those along with the party goals as well. But when you are sitting down to think about recruiting and work on recruiting, one of the things I recommend is creating your dream team. This is part of the quick start kickoff too. So you should have a list. If you don't have a list, create one. I can't stress enough how important it is to write down your folks, write down your contacts. There's a lot of times, especially when I'm sitting with a new chocolatier, that they're like, oh, it's this person and this person and this person, but they're not written down anywhere. Really suggest that you write them down. A tip list is, again, I stole this from somebody, I don't take any credit, but it's talented folks, interested folks, and those that have potential. So the people who you think would be really good at this job, the people who have shown interest, or the people who could really use this job, whether it be for money or travel or just to get out. So 3 different categories, but they're all people that Dev could really fit into their life. And once we have this list, the next part is to talk with them. Give them a call them on the phone, and your goal of your call is to set up a Cocoa chat with them. So when I initially reach out to somebody that's on my dream team, and my dream team is just those people that I absolutely adore and would love to work with, I'm in this business because I get to choose who I work with, right? So when I make that phone call to them, my goal is to set up a Cocoa chat. Now, I will ask on that call, can we get you started today, right? But my goal is a Cocoa chat, is to meet them for coffee. Can I treat you to Starbucks this week and bring some more information, right? Now, should I send an email with all that information as soon as I hang up the phone? No, I don't want paper to speak for me, right? I want to be able to speak to that person one-on-one. So I'm going to bring that information with me, okay? The other thing to do while on that call is to set expectations for the Cocoa chat. I've noticed some folks are like, I just don't have the time to meet. You can alleviate that objection just by saying, hey, after 15 or 20 minutes, usually 1 of 3 things will happen at that Cocoa chat. Either you're going to realize that this isn't for you. You're going to realize that this is exactly what you need, or you're going to realize that it is a great fit, something that you'd be interested in, but the timing isn't right. What I've done is let them know that I'm really meeting with them to find out if this fit is right. Okay? If the person is too far away, we can't meet, then suggest that you do a Zoom call so you can still see them face to face. It's really powerful. Not only in seeing how they are and seeing if they're distracted, seeing what their facial expressions are, but it is also really powerful to connect with and build that relationship with, okay? And then if you are meeting by Zoom, then I suggest you send that info just before your meeting time so that they have the material available to them, but they don't have enough time to really get into it, okay? While at that Cocoa chat, while having the conversation, while building your relationship with your potential teammates, my biggest suggestion to you guys is to listen. To focus on them and how you make them feel. I don't care how busy, I don't care how many different things I have going on. If someone calls me and says, hey, my upline had challenged me to create a dream team of people I want to work with, and you were on my list. I'd really like for you to be on my team because A, B, or C, right? I'm going to feel that warm and fuzzy. Even if I have no intention or no desire or no interest, I'm going to feel that warm and fuzzy, and it's going to stay with me. So how you make them feel is a really big thing to focus on. Again, the food cards will help you from verbally vomiting or really going too far, and really getting to know them. Letting them choose what's important to them will help you get to know them even better. And then my rule of 3. My rule of 3 is this. When they, typically they'll give you an objection. I'm too busy, or I'll have to ask my husband, or I'm just not sure. I don't have the money for the startup kit, right? before you start into resolving that, ask 3 questions. So if they were to say, you know what, I'm so busy, I don't think I have time for something like this, I could easily turn around and say something to the effect of, you know, the busy people make the best chocolatiers because they're so planned out, right? But what I would challenge you guys to do is ask 3 questions. And you can have a straight up conversation. You know what, it seems like busy is really the way of the world right now. What is keeping you busy? Do you enjoy being as busy as you are? Right? It's amazing that some people like to be that busy. To ask the question of, do you think you're missing out on anything by being as busy as you are? Right? Just to dig a little deeper into what their feeling of busy is. It may not be the same as ours. So to ask 3 questions before you start to try to overcome that objection. Try to get to know their objection a little bit better. Okay? While you're at a Cocoa Chat, we'd really like to get to either a date for their decider party, where you're going to come and do the party and they're going to decide if they're going to join your team, or a date for their launch. That's really your goal that you're going with. Okay? And then for those of you who don't know Q-tip, it's quit taking it personally. Okay? You're going to have a lot of folks that aren't going to do the business because of one reason or another. If you take every one of those personally, you won't grow your team. You won't build that relationship. Okay? So just keep a little Q-tip on your desk. Don't take it personally. Just keep plugging along. Okay? All right. What other questions do we have when it comes to recruiting? I did a really high level. But I know this was a concern or questions for folks. Take yourselves off mute. Talk to me. What's going on?
I've had some people who've said, "Oh, I'm really excited. I want to do this, absolutely," and then I call them back the next day, don't get an answer, leave a message, and like, you know, then I wait a couple of days, I call them back, and then it's like they just will not return the call.
Okay. So on that first day when they said yes, absolutely, why not sign them up right then?
They were like running, they were like busy doing something and had to go off somewhere.
Would it have been possible while having that conversation to have had them sign an agreement?
It probably would have, so I need to carry them with me.
Yeah, that would be my first line of, if they are ready to go ahead and have them fill that paper agreement out and then go home and do it for them. And I'm right there with you, Pam. I've done it plenty of times to where I've had somebody over the moon excited about doing it, wanted to talk to their husband, and then I hadn't heard from them again. You know, so you're definitely not alone in it. But to have them sign that paper agreement, even if they wanted to go home and talk to their husband, their wife, their boyfriend, their mom, right? To have them sign that paper agreement and go ahead, you know, have that conversation. If I don't hear from you by tomorrow morning, I'll go ahead and I'll put through your paperwork.
I had a very strange experience. I was at basically a business expo, and the very last person that came to my table that day was like so excited. She was nearly jumping out of her skin, saying, "I want to be you. I want to wear that apron. I want all of this, you know, on my table." So I said, well, and then I thought of something that Gina told me. What she says is, "So what's keeping you from signing up today?" Mm-hmm. And I said that, and I wasn't expecting. She said nothing. And I said, "Oh my gosh." And I was like, so I had her fill the whole thing out. She filled it out. If I had my computer there, I would have had her do it right online. She filled it all out, and she had to leave, whatever. I get home, I enter everything. I didn't have her 3-digit code on the credit card.
Oh, okay.
And she has never returned my calls, my emails, or letters that I've sent her.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
I am totally serious. Totally serious. Broke my heart. She would have been great. I don't know what happened. I even actually sent her a card and said, I hope you're okay. And,
Wow. Wow.
weird. But yeah, if you're getting the information, get the 3-digit code on the card because it's not asked for on the form.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
Well, although if I had sent her the kit, I probably never would have heard from her then either. So who knows?
You never, I don't know about that one. I got nothing.
It's weird. It was just weird.
Unbelievable. All right, Melissa, Mary Beth, Sherry. Any questions?
What was your second question you said for the busy thing?
If someone's busy?
Yeah, you said what's keeping you busy. What was the second one after that?
That's a great question.
I got it.
I was like, I could listen to it on the replay.
No, I've got it. You said, what's keeping you busy? Do you enjoy being as busy as you are? And are you missing out on anything by being as busy as you are?
Thank you, Pam.
You're welcome. And then, Heather, would you follow up with, the busiest people really make the greatest chocolatiers?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean, it really depends on the conversation. They're going to respond to each of those 3 questions differently. For somebody who really loves being busy, then yes, I may say something along those lines of, busy people do make good chocolatiers because they tend to be more planned, right? But if I didn't ask those questions, if I don't know a little bit more about my person, right, they may not think they're a planned out person. They may be really busy enjoying it, but it might just be that they're jumping from one thing to the next, but they don't feel planned out. So if I were to suggest, busy people are, they're usually really good planners. They're going to go, oh, it's not me, so I have to be very careful with the assumptions I'm making and saying to that person. I have the most success repeating what they say back to them. So if they say, yeah, I really enjoy being busy. So do you have 3 hours in your busyness that you could do a party in a week? Would that $100 make a difference in your family's, busy activities, right? And that could be, I like being really busy. Are you missing out on anything? Yeah, my house is a mess. Well, would $100 help you hire somebody to keep that, right? So to build that relationship and know a little bit more about them is going to help you to see if Dove is going to fit in their life and if now is the right time. And then really putting that out as a vision for them that, hey, with 3 hours a week, you could have a party that could bring in an extra income for you. Maybe they're so busy that they miss out on traveling, right? Now we can work that in. So it really just depends how they answer those questions.
That makes sense. Thank you.
No worries. All right. Questions? No questions. All right. So call to action. So from today, I'm going to ask that you guys share the amount of parties you have booked currently in your Magic Hat number and what your recruiting goals are for November. Commit to do 5 or 15 3 times in the next week and email your results after each one. So if you call 5 people and you talk to all 5 of them, what were the results of those conversations? If you call 5 people and you leave 5 voice messages, just send those results over to me. And then to create your dream team, right? If you have a list of folks, kudos to you, you're way ahead. You're way ahead of this call to action, but create your dream team. Who do you want in your team? Why would they be great for DCD, and why would DCD be great for them? And invite them to meet you for coffee. And then email me those results. Okay? Any other questions? Crickets. I need a little cricket like sound. Little crickets.
All right, here's my question.
Cricket.
You started off with squirrel. What were you talking about?
With a squirrel?
Yeah.
A squirrel is when you're you're talking about something and you're in the middle of it and all of a sudden you jump to a different topic.
Oh,
You get
okay.
distracted very easily, right?
I'm
That's
feeling
a
like
squirrel
that every day. Okay.
That's a squirrel moment, right? It happens to me all the time.
I'm feeling like I'm becoming ADD as I get older. Every day it's a little worse.
All right. So here's your call to action. I will go ahead and post just my slides up on our group page. Angie, I'm sorry you're stuck with the recording again, but we'll get it
I will
posted.
email it to you.
Okay, that would be fantastic. And then I'll be in touch with you guys, but if you need anything in the meantime, please let me know. Anybody have anything else?
I found frog noises. I haven't found crickets yet.
Heather, thank you so much for allowing me and my team, if they ever come, to join these meetings. It really means a lot to me. I really appreciate it.
No problem, Pam, anytime. All right, ladies, I will see you guys all on the flip side.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for letting me
Bye.
know.
All right, bye.